right, I guess we clocked in. Let's see what's going on here. Hey, what's going on, party people? Now, if this is your first time here, welcome. It's definitely a great pleasure to have you here. I go by the name of Lespri. Hold up. Let me make sure my shit is lit, man. I go by the name of Lespri. I am a spiritual healer. And essentially, as a spiritual healer, what I do pretty much is that I help people to become Christ like, Krishna like, Buddha like. And what that simply means is that I help you to attain your highest level of consciousness. Now, the way that I go about doing that is I help you to become mentally and emotionally balanced. Now, why is it important for you to be mentally and emotionally balanced for you to attain your highest level of consciousness? Well, it's vital because, like, let's just say if you are emotionally unbalanced, then that would have a direct impact on your intellect. That's what you see, for instance, when people are not being, let's just say, when people are being too emotional. You could tell there are things that is right in front of them and they're not seeing it. But this is also another way to reveal how we truly see things too. And again, without getting a little bit ahead of myself, I'm going to be talking about spirituality, but this is all spirituality. What we're really talking about here is how we operate as spirit. And once we get to know us, truly how we operate, then you realize what we are energy. And then ultimately, what that means is that you are spirit. All right, we're going to let this do its thing on this side. Okay, so we can do our thing on that side. But anyway, um, so there's no way around it. For you to attain your highest level of consciousness, it's vital that you become mentally and emotionally balanced because only then can you attain your highest state of clarity. Because obviously, just like I was talking about, being emotionally unbalanced does have a direct impact on your intellect. And that's what you see when people are being emotionally unbalanced, or when you fall in love, or when you're being triggered, or if you're depressed. These things will not allow you to, come up with some of your best ideas, or even to see things for what they are. There is a reason why, like, sometimes people will tell you, don't make a decision while you're mad. Because most likely it's not going to be the best decision. Not for you, because you're not in the best state of clarity for you to do that. So that's why it's important for, you got to become in alignment with you. Now, vice versa, same thing applies. Let's just say now you the type of person who, let's just say, fuck emotions, you want to be logical. Well, guess what happens? By being too logical, you become very rigid. You become very robotic. And as a result now, you don't see the things that are right in front of you. You can't see the things that are in front of you. You're stepping on people's toes. You don't have no connection with other people because all you're looking at things only from a logical perspective. And that's what I like to call your judge dread. What your soul would dread. This is the law. It's logic. This is what you got to go through. This is what you got to follow. You know, yeah, all that. And ironically, it's somehow uh, blocking your vision. Your vision is not as subtle as it would need to be. That's why adding a little bit of emotions, sometimes make you able to relate to other people. I kind of been there, add a little bit of emotions. You can't just be like, well, you can if you choose to be, but when you add a little bit of emotion, it helps you to be a little more relatable to others. You know what I'm saying? Although I know I put my own work in, but I could have compassion for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like give you a hand or lend you a hand. So being emotionally unbalanced does have a direct impact on your intellect, and vice versa. Being, let's just say, you suppressing your emotions, that would also have an impact on your intellect, i.e., your inner vision, how you see things, your state of consciousness. Because when we're talking about consciousness, we're talking about a state of realization. And then as you start to realize shit, and then you get into a state of fucking enlightenment. In a nutshell, that's what I help you with. Now, we talked about how important it is to be mentally and emotionally balanced. Now, let's talk about what do I mean by helping you to become emotionally balanced. It's fair, right? So let's just say what this shit is not. It's definitely not, you not raising your voice. You know what I'm saying? Or you not, what I'm saying, like speaking a certain way or maintaining your calm. I mean, all of that. I mean, it's good. But ultimately, when we're talking about, being mentally balanced or emotionally balanced, rather, what I'm saying, like you could curse a motherfucker out. You could raise your voice if you choose to. That has absolutely nothing to do with you being emotionally balanced or unbalanced. Just like when Jesus went into the temple and started chasing motherfuckers around, get the fuck out of here. Like sometimes, what I'm saying, you being in alignment, you may need to say that. You may need to let a nigga know. You may need to raise your voice. What the fuck? I mean, any normal or sane people, if you see injustice, I mean, I hope you speaking out. You know what I'm saying? And that could be the right shit that will get you into certain type of emotions, that will erect certain emotions out of you, and that is not you being triggered. This is you, you know what I'm saying, being in your fucking element. So being emotionally balanced, what that has to do with is how you understand your emotions and how you are processing your emotions. It's important for you to understand your emotional patterns. And if you have any blockages, then you are, at the level to actually fix it. That's what we're talking about here. In fact, when people are trying not to raise their voice, I mean, in fact, if you want to be honest, like you just acting. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people who put on that front, what I'm saying, to showcase that, they are mature. I mean, especially in our culture. Come on now. That's one thing you guys know. You know what I'm saying? Motherfuckers got to maintain their fucking composure to somehow show that they are mature. I mean, there are situations. I mean, I'm not gonna argue with a fucking fool. I mean, that's not gonna happen. But letting a motherfucker know, which means I'm making a statement. This is not for us to go back and forth. This is me making my statement. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas going back and forth, entails me having to be triggered or to be on the same level as you are. Then now it's normal exchange. That's not what I'm talking about here. What we're talking about here, it's as a level of mastery that you know your emotions, and then when you choose, there are times where I choose not to say anything. If it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. But there are other times when I choose to say something, not because I'm being triggered or anything. You just gotta let a nigga know. No, that's my favorite sentence. You gotta let a nigga know sometimes, man. You know what I'm saying? The truth's gotta be spoken. Not for me to go back and forth with you, but it is what it is. Just for the beauty of the truth itself. Somebody gotta say it. You know what I'm saying? If not, I mean, shit. Like the stones ain't gotta speak for me, nigga. I speak for myself. But anyway, making a long story short, so now that we're delving a little bit more about how I do things, and hopefully you should. I mean, I'm hoping that you get or understand, why it's important to be mentally and emotionally balanced, because they do have an impact on how you see things, and for you to look for the highest state of clarity, so those two have to become in alignment. So now, as we were talking about being emotionally balanced, now you understand and know what that entails. It truly means you being in touch with your emotions, you understanding, your emotions, and you being in charge of your emotions too. Now, at this point, if anything needs to be changed, then you have the ability, because you understand exactly where the problem is coming from. So therefore, you have the ability to, let's just say, to change or to alter how you feel. And that has to do with you having that proper connection and actually some sort of communication and connection, same shit, with your own emotions. So now, when I'm referring to being mentally balanced, we just talked about being emotionally balanced. It's the same baseline understanding, meaning, you need to understand how your minds work. You gotta understand how is your mind